Hello. Nice to see you again. Sincere apologies for last week. I'm Ambrose Ezenwa. You know what I mean? We were not here last week because just that the road refused to move. What I mean is there was a breakdown on our bridge and one of these lag buses. And indeed, we stayed there for more than 1 hour, 30 minutes. No rescue team. Maybe that's what LASMA has to look at. We apologize again. We're here today, and I hope you are there too, ready to share your views, ready to tell us what's been happening since we last met, ready to tell us the improvements you've noticed in your area or in the society, or things that have developed that you don't like and you want government or the people concerned to look at. Thank you again for being there, and as usual, the numbers will be on the screen, already on the screen. What you are required to do is to dial either and share with us. Just straight to the point, be brief, but don't insult and don't use foul language. That's the only condition we give on Citizens Voice. Welcome again, and I know you are ready to talk. The last time we met here, remember we made some observations about certain things in certain areas. I want to report to you that Vision Scope, or whoever is in charge, maybe Loma in that area. I mentioned particularly a bus stop, a hostel bus stop. Yes, I remember mentioning that, talking about the refuse heap. Behold, that was on a Saturday. Sunday morning, as I passed through that area, that spot was cleared. And I said, if this is how responsive our organs are, then we are making progress. So we want to commend them for that quick response, and I hope you have similar response results in your area too. I just hope so. So we are on. The numbers are there. Please go on, dial, and talk to us. No delays. Whatever it's on your mind, remember, no restrictions. Whatever the topic is, whatever the observation you have is, just bear your mind and let's share. But tell us what it is and what it is. Now, we also are concerned about domestic violence in our society. Domestic violence. I'm sure you've heard about husband killing wife stabbing husband, and so on and so forth. Are you worried? We're asking Nigerians, is there any way out? Is there any way this trend can be checked? We went to the street to listen to what they have to say. You take a listen. Okay, maybe we'll bring you that later, but it's an important development in our society, and we've got to look at it. If you also know something that has happened in your area like that, share with us. But we want to say that the duty is on us. Well, for those who live in the exclusive areas where things are happening and you may not hear, well, we cannot blame anybody. But if you live very close and you hear strange things happening in a family, maybe some strange noise and screaming and all those kind of things, it is your duty as neighbors to intervene before the worst happens. That's my feeling. That's what I do. So if you hear strange noise, screamings, hard sounds that are not familiar, it may just be good for you to go near and find out what is happening. You may just be saving a life. You may just be saving a life. Okay, we'll look at that later. But for now, if you are ready, your telephone set is with you, and you've taken this number, please dial and let's talk. We had about 15 people last time we met on this program 2 weeks ago, and it was wonderful. We hope we repeat the same thing today. Okay, I'm waiting to see the first caller for today. If we're ready with that street talk, let's hear. If not, let's begin to open the lines now for the callers to call us. Okay? And before that comes, it's interesting to note that the Chief Justice of the Federation is asking governments at all levels to obey court orders. Otherwise, there will be anarchy. That's an interesting thing coming from an official himself, because it shows that some governments are not obeying court orders, and that will derail democracy. Okay, I think we are ready now. Let's listen to what the people tell us about the increase in domestic violence and what can be done.
Right about at times the fault is from the man or woman. So anytime domestic violence happens, the parent of the two need to intervene. So they need to understand each other. The man is from different home, the woman also is from different home. They need to understand each other. We have the likes and dislikes. So they need to settle down amicably. So the government also has its own part as well. The judiciary is there to intervene. Now the judiciary is taking their own part. They are doing very well. You hear it in print media and non-print media that they are intervening and the thing is going on fine. But the rate at which domestic violence is increasing is at an alarming rate, and it's not good for the society. You can't say someone is the major cause. At times, the fault is in the hand of the man. At times, it's in the hand of the woman. The most important thing is to understand each other. We have our individual differences that need to be studied. No matter the length of the courtship before the marriage, that one cannot solve the problem of domestic. The only thing is understanding each other. Once you understand each other and you tolerate the differences, domestic violence will reduce drastically. Before a man can slap a woman, something might have caused it. So that thing that caused it is what the man needs to be prevented. The woman needs to study the husband. My husband did not like this thing. Once you stop that thing, the issue of slapping each other will not arise. Before a man can slap a woman, the woman might have done something wrong. So that thing that the woman done wrongly, she needs to study the husband so that that thing will not happen. So study each other, understand each other, that's the bane of domestic violence.
It is not proper, most especially in our homes, because the more we practicalize such, it's going to affect our children's future. So more teachings has to be made, both in Christian aspect of life and the Muslim part of it too. So most of our teachers have to teach us more so that it will be minimized. It is meant to happen. It is meant to happen. In as much as there are two parties in the house, such must surely happen wherever in the society at large. So, but more teachings and most especially understanding. If we understand our partners so much, there is supposed to be no violence in our homes. And whatsoever we practice in the home, such we took out there in the society. So it affects us so much, which is not supposed. At times, happenings around us causes that too. At times, what we observe out there, we thought that it is proper. But when we handle it at home, it affects us. So at times, we need to calm ourselves down so that such will not happen. And again, when it happens, we realize our mistakes. And at the same time, some things must have spoiled in the process of such a domestic problems. Nobody is to be blamed because each and every one of us have faults. We are not God. According to the Christians, we are not God. So nobody is to be blamed because the day we enter this life, we don't know. So I don't blame anybody. It is bound to happen from the man or from the woman. But when it happens, understanding is the only solution I see. And above all, is this God?
Domestic violence in Nigeria is something we have to take absolute care in saying. It can come from the family, either the man or the woman. And at the same time, it can come from outside. From what I mean outside, from the society at large. From what people are going through these days. From the hardship in town or in the country. Or, I put it in whole, it's lack of understanding. Lack of understanding. When you see somebody, you know, we are all mad. We are all mad. Anyone who says that he or she is not mad, haven't gotten it. When you are angry, you are mad. You have gone, you are not no longer normal. So, domestic violence, the causes of it in Nigeria, in a nutshell, is lack of understanding. When you understand each other, there's no way you will raise your hand to beat or to struck somebody, or to stab or to fight. Lack of understanding. What should be done to curb it in the society? One, we have to go back to our roots. Where do we come from? Where do we started? Our cultural background. In Nigeria, we have diverse culture. So one have to go back to the culture. What and what do it takes for you to understand each other? So we have to go back to the advices given to us by our parents. And at the same time, in the religious part of it, I am a pastor, I am a Christian. So what do? We still have to go back to our churches. The Muslims should go back to mosque, teach people what it takes to combat domestic violence. In this contention, I blame nobody. I blame understanding. Once you have understanding, once there is understanding, I don't think anybody will fight each other. Once there is understanding, you will understand that you will just let go. In Igbo language, that's what we say, I translate in English now, that when you know about something or you know about somebody and you forget it, the thing will go. It said, Amana Ahara. When you know something, know where that thing is leading, you just copy it and go.
Both the men and the man, we have to blame them. Because there's no understanding. And once you don't have a work, the man don't have a work, the woman does not have a work. That's one. And they don't believe in God. If there's a real love, I don't see where a woman will stab his husband or a man will stab his wife. You see, that's what I think about it. Poverty. When your home is at peace, if somebody is working and they have money in hand, poverty costs one. The poverty is the main issue of the whole scenario. Poverty causes it. Because when in the morning your wife eat bread and egg, drink tea, in the afternoon he eat pounded yam, he eat fried rice, there will not be a problem. But when there's no work, the husband does not have work, the wife does not have work. Tension. But because they don't believe in God. If you believe in God, there will not be any violence.
Okay, you've heard the people we spoke with there telling us what they think about domestic violence, how to curb it, who is to blame, what's to be done, what causes it, okay? Right, maybe that's what you want to expand, maybe that's what you want to talk about. If you had some first-hand experience or second-hand experience, you want to talk about the two, you're welcome, okay? So, let's hear from you now. If that's what you want to talk about, please feel free. If that's not what you want to talk about, just say what is on your mind. It's open and you are not restricted. All we ask is that you keep your language decent. That's all we ask for on Citizen's Voice. We're waiting for your calls now. As I said, the Chief Justice of the Federation, a very strong warning, asking governments to obey court injunctions. Whatever the court has ordered, please carry out so that we can avoid anarchy. There's been a lot of talk on that recently, pointing at some government levels, citing disobedience of court orders. Now, if we want democracy to thrive, then court orders must be obeyed. That's a good one coming from the man at the helm of affairs, Justice Onoge. Okay, thank you for that. And if you want to also talk about that, maybe you have some instances of people disobeying court orders, government disobeying court orders, you want to share with us, so that those who have offended may listen and take some correction. Okay? It could be about your city too, Lagos. We've been talking about cleaner Lagos for some time. We've been talking about the roads for some time. By the way, I drove through the Ajao road today. And behold, it's a far cry from what it was years back. Horrible, horrible court roads. Hello, Dolapo. You're welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good day. It's afternoon now. Welcome.
Please, the issue on ground concerning obeying the court order.
Yes.
Well, I believe the government should be very careful over this. These are the things that create chaos and anarchy in many nations. As the Bible says, righteousness exalts a nation is a reproach. You see, when people are not ready to obey court orders, it shows that the government is not really working the way it should.
Okay.
And they are the best example for others to follow. If a judge gives a verdict and the verdict is not being obeyed by the government of the land, what did you want the ordinary citizen to do? So it should be clearly and be stated to all who are in the head of affairs in this country. If you want Nigeria to move forward, if you want Nigeria to be a better place for us, or we should be able to obey simple court orders which has been given. We give the judges assignments, and if they do their work and they give you, it should be obeyed. Nobody is above the law. But if in the area that we said some government officials are above the law, well, the situation will bring itself back. Thank you very much. Concerning the violence, that domestic violence,
yeah,
I believe couples should try and understand one another. I don't see any reason for a husband to beat his wife. And I don't see any reason why she should be disobedient to her husband. So please, all couples should be very careful and remove any domestic violence and have the fear of God in their heart.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dolapo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Dolapo there talking about the need to obey court orders and also couples taking their time so that we reduce the rate of domestic violence in our society. Okay? Please, if you call, once your call is through, try to kill the volume of your TV set, bring it down completely so that we will not have some holdbacks. And as much as possible, stay away from other people when you want to talk so that they do not interfere, please. Okay, the numbers are still there. Just dial either and talk to us. Share with us what you're experiencing. Emmanuel, we're glad to have you on Citizen's Voice. Hello, Citizen Emmanuel.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You like to speak up a bit? You're a bit faint.
Yeah.
Yes?
What's your program about? Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yeah. Program. So ask you a question.
Hello, Emmanuel. Oh, I think we've lost that call. Emmanuel was to talk with us. Okay, let's hope he calls back. Let's hope he calls back. There seems to be so many issues arising in the political scene in our country. We hope the parties will tidy them up before the election so that we can have a smooth election. Okay, we heard of some shootings yesterday or so in Ekiti, and the allegation was that it was done by the police. The details are not yet known. How could the police shoot? Was it stray bullets? Was it a mistake or something? But if you have details from that exercise, maybe you want to share with us and tell us what happened. Okay? But that's not what's your mind. Please tell us what you have on your mind. The Citizen's Voice. I was talking about Lagos and cleanliness, the Clean Lagos initiative. If you've noticed remarkable improvements in some areas, please let us know. Those who called last time complaining about dirts in the Joelegba area, I hope you are seeing some improvement because we went around those areas and we really saw the Vision Scope team at work. Right from Mushi, they were busy. As a matter of fact, it's like they work both day and night now in that axis, unlike night before. So that place is really clean. We must commend them for that. Chibuike, how are you?
I'm fine.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's on your mind?
Much.
And you too.
I'm fine.
We're fine. Your TV set is on. The volume of your TV set is on. Can you bring it down? The volume of your TV set? Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay. On what you just said, on violence, domestic violence at home.
Yes.
Actually, government, they contribute on this. Because once there's nobody care about anybody, it's just like one day I'm just talking on the road. I don't even know I step on someone. The way that the man just pushed me, I said, sir, what is that? The man said, I can't you see that you step on? I said, sorry. The man have already locked me. I said, it's up to this. You calm down. People there are so much surprised. Just later on, that please the man leaves me. So one man now called me and said, which church am I attending to? That I really have patience. If someone says it will be a very serious issue. I said, well, it's really God. It's not the situation of country. He is not supposed to be angry like that. So on all those things, government contributes most of them. When someone will go out this morning, hustling at the end of it, coming back, nothing. When you get to me, maybe your wife said there is no crazy. You said, what do you mean by that? What about the point that I dropped this yesterday? When you drop only 500 naira where you are living? You have started to use the 500 naira to steal children and feed ourselves, then still use it and keep using it. Is that possible? Yeah. And somebody, when you know your God, if you know the God that you are serving, everything will be very easy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, Citizen Chibuike, thank you for your contribution. He is of the opinion that the frustration in the society could lead to domestic violence, and he links that too to a government of the day. You go out in the morning with something in your pocket, hoping that it will be filled by the time you come back, and you come back, the pocket is empty. So there's aggression, there's frustration, and that can easily be transferred to your partner at home. So Chibuike says that could lead to frustration. Okay, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. But you've got to talk of the degree of frustration, the degree of domestic violence. If because there's no money in your pocket, you go to the extent of stabbing or killing, that would be strange and frustrating. Okay, we'll take a short break on Citizen's Voice here. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Before they come, they're supposed to, give us some information. Notice. At least maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.
Hunger is everywhere in Nigeria. People are dying every day, but Nigeria government are keeping quiet. Housemen are killing people. Why?
It's not what we expected because of these old men that are leading us, and you people know, you are aware that these people are not the right people to lead us. These kind of people that are leading us here are people of black mind. They just care about themselves and their family.
You are affecting my village. Let me use if I call it useless, I'm not to mistake. The other place where they build a shop, call it plaza. Each shop got 4 million naira, which I don't have the money, so I have to leave. If you plan to get a tribal mark, it takes a lot of pain, but after some time, you enjoy it. No, we experience hold up now during the construction time. Then after some time, we start enjoying it.
The way they are doing the construction is too slow. It's too slow. The construction is too slow. They should stop the construction and make sure people go into their businesses and do their businesses.
Okay, welcome back. This is Citizen's Voice, and we're here every Saturday for you, just for you to air your views, speak up, and tell us what's on your mind about what you have seen, what's happening around you, what you know, is happening somewhere and you think it needs to be corrected. Also, if you've seen something good around you, please let us know. Just as I've said, we're talking about Cleaner Lagos. We talked about it sometime on this program, and what we see now on the Mushin axis is wonderful because it used to be filthy. We complain about it here, but as I speak now, it's a day and night affair. If you pass there in the morning, you will see the people working, clearing everything. You come in the night, you see them also removing. That's essential because that's a busy area, mainly market area is busy. But for the residential areas, I think Vision Scope or the authorities should work out a system of collecting refuse. You know why? You notice that immediately they pick the refuse or they clear them, give it another 2 hours, you have more dumped there. And that's because they don't have regulated time. It's like any time you can drop your refuse. But if you sensitize the people and let them know that maybe every morning at this time refuse will be collected, or every evening at this time or afternoon, they know the time to come or to bring out their refuse, then I think it will make more sense. So the streets will not look littered and filthy all the time. So Vision Scope may begin to think of that methodology. I know when Loma was functional those days, every street knew when they come to collect refuse, something like that, a regulated time that will help us. Hello, we have Chidi on the line. Hello, Chidi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Citizen Chidi. Yes, what's on your mind?
How's your day?
Yes, fine, thank you.
I'm calling regarding, I called sometime last month, precisely, regarding our area, in Nigeria, precisely.
Okay.
Community road.
Okay.
That road is so bad.
No attention.
The adjacent street, Obadia, is so bad that if you rent now, you cannot access the road.
Okay.
I don't know what is happening. I called the other time regarding to that, whether there's something that needs to be done about that.
Elijah Obadia axis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Community road.
Community road, yes. You talked about it. So nothing has been done yet, Abi?
Nothing has been done.
From your understanding, is it under the local government or state government? That's that road you're talking about now, the community road.
Come again.
That community road, from your understanding, is it a local government road or a state?
It's a local government.
It's like local government, okay.
It's a local government.
Okay.
Together with the adjacent streets of Obadia.
Okay.
Nothing has been done. On that street, that road is very bad.
It's very bad.
As you rent this morning, you cannot access that road.
Oh. Which local government? Which local government?
We want them to come to our aid to see what they can do about that, so that the road can be accessible.
Okay. Which local government is in charge? What's the name of the local government?
It's Bariga local government.
Bariga?
Shomolu rather. Shomolu.
Shomolu?
Sonda Shomolu.
Ah, okay. All right.
Sonda Shomolu.
All right. Thank you, Citizen Chidi. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Elijah Badia Community Road under Shomolu local government, according to Chidi. Well, whether it's under Shomolu or not, there's somebody in charge. That's the important thing. And you know the road in question. Could you pay a visit for an inspection and know what to do? That's why you are there. That is why you are there. Especially now that elections will soon come. Maybe this is the best time to touch that road and let the people know that you care for them. You care for them. This is the time to do it. Elijah Obadia Community Road, in very bad shape. Citizen Chidi says. So please, the local government in charge, do something about it, even if it's just filling the road for now, depending on what you have, if you cannot do the complete work, as they did on the Mushin. The problem with such temporary measures is that very soon you go back to it. But I think it's better than doing nothing at all. It's better than doing nothing at all. serve the people. Just do something for them, okay? Emmanuel, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I called earlier.
Oh, yes. You were trying to, yes, okay.
My most concern is about the SARS now, with the way they are getting the area. I don't know if that has come to your...
Come again? About what?
About SARS.
SARS, okay.
The way they are aging all the areas now. But that also can contribute to frustration. Because at this point, exactly 8 o'clock p.m. in the evening, they are always on every street. So either you're coming from work or you're working illegally, they don't want to know what you're doing. They just get you and put you inside their bus.
The Onikman Aziz?
Yes. In fact, about 2 weeks ago, exactly here, there's a street here they call the Say Street. These guys park the black bus there. That's all these black commercial bus. They park there, and guys that are probably coming from work or coming from somewhere, you just get them, put them inside the bus. You can't show them your ID card, they slap you, they ask you to enter the bus.
Really?
So it's becoming all the name of khaki Yahoo boys. So does it mean that all the youths now in Nigeria are now Yahoo boys? Or is that what the president has them to be doing? Things like this also has to be looked into because it's really frustrating. And things like that can even cause domestic violence.
Okay.
If I must tell you before I go, sorry, there was an incident that happened recently. I think about 2 months ago. There was this little boy, probably 21 years. Since that in their house there was no light, so I think they didn't have the light. So the mom asked him to go off the gen. He went outside, tried to off the gen. So those stars saw him. I think he was on boxers. And they held him. I was like, what are you doing here? And the man was trying to explain himself. They put the guy inside the bus, started taking him off. So at the point of taking him off, one of their neighbors saw what happened. And they called the mother and the father of that boy. So the mother was trying to follow the stars. So while she was doing that, and the father was also following the stars, but after their babe, the mother fell down and died.
Oh.
That she slumped, and that was how she died. So things like that keep happening, and it's very frustrating. Things like that. So I want issues like this to also be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you, Citizen Emmanuel. That's a very, very pathetic story. Well, you've heard it. Things happening in our society, and this is where we need government's intervention, and even the civil rights people, the lawyers. I know there are lawyers who volunteer to come to people and say, we need more of your intervention. Because the SARS, I think, how do I put it? I think it amounts to exploitation or intimidation. You see, they know that the people they deal with don't know their rights, and they just capitalize on that and exploit them. I think that's what is happening, because they will not go to people who are, enlightened, who know their rights. They wouldn't treat a lawyer that way, for example. You're just coming out of your house to put off your gen. The next thing they ask you is enter I mean, it's not done. But this is what happens in our society. That's an eyewitness account. And this is where we need the government to do something. Just do something by way of regulation. The police commissioner is there. The funny thing is that when you ask him, he's likely to tell you the report has not reached them. So why don't we also provide maybe a hotline where people can easily call when such a thing happens to let the police authorities know what is happening around them. Hello, Citizen Tosin.
Hello.
You're welcome to Citizen's Voice.
Yes. I'm calling you from Palm Grove.
Palm Grove, okay.
Yes. I'm living at Ikorodu Ibishi, in Dubo local government area.
The local government?
What happened here on Thursday, we hear about this story that the police people, there's a police section they put on an Ibishi route in Ikorodu Ibishi. So in the night, they used to do roadblock and collecting money, police people collecting money from both Okada and vehicles. So what happened? Maybe in that night, they stopped Okada. Maybe the Okada bike don't stop. They went to eat him on his egg. The man later gave up. So on Wednesday, we now hear the story that the Okada now give up and they burned the police van. Sure, you understand me now, sir?
I'm trying to understand you. Where did you say this happened? You said Ibeshe?
Ibeshe.
You're very faint. I'm straining my ears to get what you're saying. Hello?
You said what?
Can you speak up a bit? I'm straining my ears to pick your words. You said it happened on Ibeshe Road. Where?
Yes, Ikorodu.
Ikorodu, okay. The police staged a roadblock, you said, and they are collecting money?
Yes.
Okay. What happened to the Okada man you talked about?
They stopped the Okada. Maybe the Okada didn't stop.
Okay.
They're now eating on stick on his head.
Okay.
So on Tuesday, we may later hear that the Okada man now give up. Maybe Okada people now retaliate. So they went to burn. The story that I hear that they went to burn the van of a police people. So after the day, after the time they burned the van, they now called the Alausa. They sent security people and starting raiding everybody's around Ibeshe there. Picking people, they enter inside the people's house, people come back to go and pick somebody out and take them away. On Thursday, we now hear that almost 100 people plus they went to raid them. Oh no. Are they not the people are they not the people we said they should be guiding us? They are the ones that is killing us. Okay. Which country are we in now? We don't understand.
All right. I think the point is clear. You've made the point.
We enter, we are afraid. We coming out, we are afraid. On Friday, they do roadblock and stop and pass people and picking people down from Jersey. It's not done. It's not done.
Okay. That's the truth. It shouldn't be done, but it's been done. We just have to look for a way of solving this problem. And if you ask me, the CDAs should come together, at least the officials of the CDA. I know Lagos is such a busy place and maybe the residents are difficult to control, but I know there are CDAs, Community Development Authority associations around every area. This thing has to be solved at that community level. Hello, Citizen Comfort.
Hello.
Nice to hear from you.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Comfort, calling from Barigan.
Okay, let's hear you.
Okay, I want to complain about the road in my area. The road is really, really bad. Community road.
Okay.
Yes, community Obadia road, very bad.
Yeah.
Yes. It has been a problem for some time now. Transportation has been difficult. Very difficult. And even for a pregnant woman passing through that route every day, it has just been hard.
Okay.
So I want the people in charge of that area to please do something about that road and have pity on people living there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you, Citizen Comfort. Yes, I think Chidi also called concerning that road earlier. Yes, Chidi called concerning that. So it must be really bad. This another problem that can be handled by the community. What I mean is, if the community comes together and then makes a representation to the local government, you'll find that some action might just be taken. Because the greatest challenge we have is that nobody seems to care when things are going wrong around us. But if the community development associations are working, that is one of your duties, to draw attention of government to what is not right in your community. Hello, Citizens Williams. Hello, Williams. Hello, Williams.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
You're welcome.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. What I want to disagree with you, when you said citizens do not know their rights. You understand? With what the other guy said the other time, instead of you know, the problem with us in Nigeria is the police people don't have respect for their citizens. They treat us like slaves, and they maltreat us, and they look at us as a third party in this country. If you are not a policeman, you are not an army, you are not, or you don't have anybody in the substantial place in the government, you are nobody. You understand? And this is what you now say to take their body because they know they don't know their right. Even if they know their right, who listen to you? Nobody listens to you in this country, except you are just being justified by one, maybe somebody from somewhere who intervened and somebody was. I have heard an army people who beat a people because he was wearing an army camouflage. Why? We are not supposed to be treated in that manner. These people are to protect us and not to maltreat us.
Yeah.
And that is what the government has taught the police, the army, to treat the citizens in the way they like as if they are slaves. In fact, in Nigeria, no ordinary citizens are nobody but slaves. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Citizen Williams, thank you very much for your contribution all the way from Aja. Okay, well, you said it, but what I was implying actually is that the police kind of looks at you and decides. Take drivers, for example. The way they handle or talk to drivers, those who are driving, and not professionally speaking now, differs. You are in your car, you come to a police checkpoint or they stop you. You see, first of all, they try to assess where you are or who you are. Maybe from your speech, your dressing or something like that, and the kind of response you give to their questions. And that determines how they treat you. I'll come back to that. Hello, Citizens Fatima. Oh, have we missed that? Okay. So they look at you and just assuming that young man cited in the case, was a lawyer, for example. He comes out of his house to put off his generator, even if in a boxer, and the next thing they say, jump into life. It will not be easy for them, I can tell you that, because he's going to ask you certain questions, as a lawyer, and immediately the police will know that this is not a pushover. That's what I mean. They size you up somehow, and they know what to do. But if you know your right, and you are able to ask one or two questions that tells them that you know you're right, then they will not. I was talking of drivers, okay? So if they ask for your documents, now some people know who should ask for documents. For example, who by right or by law should ask for documents. And so when the wrong person asks for document, the person will say, "You are not the person to ask me for document." You see what I mean? Immediately they know you know what the law says, and they will follow the right path. Citizen Oye, how are you? Hello? I thought Oye was on the line. Okay. So, enlightenment is part of it. Enlightenment is part of it. I'm not saying that the police will not intimidate. No, they do. They do. They do. But if they also know, once they discover that you know your rights, they take it easier, or they act differently. They act differently. They act differently. A typical example is pressmen. When they see pressmen on the road, for example, and you identify yourself as a pressman, the behavior, the atmosphere changes. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Because they know immediately what could follow. That's the kind of thing I mean. So if you are armed with some knowledge, basic knowledge of what to do when a policeman comes to arrest you, the questions you should ask, then they begin to take it easy with the citizens. That's one thing I think you can do on your own. On your own. That's what I mean. Self-effort now. Self-effort. That is not to say that what you said does not happen. It happens. It's a pity, and that's why we are calling on government to enlighten the people, or at least step up the laws, or encourage law enforcement agents and personnel to act decently as the law demands. As the law demands. The Commissioner of Police has a duty to instruct his people and keep them under control, because the whole problem actually comes from there. When the IGP says no more roadblocks, and he sticks to it, you'll find that there will be no roadblocks. But if he relaxes and there's no oversight function, as it were, no monitoring team to ensure that it happens, you'll find that it happens. What you notice is that some policemen, when they want to do what is not legal, they will park their vehicles. Always watch. There's a piece of cloth they use to cover the number. So you wouldn't identify, you can't take the number of the vehicle. They know what they are doing. Hello, Chibuike.
Hello, sir.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. I want to talk about what is happening at Rosewood now, because I don't really understand. If government don't want transport,
your line is noisy. Can you move away a bit from your set? Move away a bit from your set. Okay. Oh, what has happened? Oh, sorry about that. It was so noisy I couldn't hear. Maybe we'll just add that too, please. So when you call or you want to call, just move away from your TV set, lower the volume, and then move away from your set so that we don't have such disturbing interferences. Okay? All right. Back to SARS. Government needs to do something. Government at all levels needs to do something. There are abuses everywhere, not just in the police, but this one directly affects the people, and they are helpless. They are helpless. Last time on this program, I did suggest seeing a lawyer who will educate you, enlighten you on what to do or what questions to ask when there's such a thing. And there's nothing that stops us, too, as citizens, from engaging the services of lawyers. You know, if families have their lawyers and once such a thing happens, they call on the lawyer, it might just save some embarrassments, because I know the question of payment will come in. Who is going to pay? How do we pay? But it's negotiable. Hello, citizen Chibuike.
Hello?
You're back. You're welcome.
Hello?
Welcome back. I can hear you. Hello, Chibuike, are you there?
Hello, good afternoon. According to what I'm saying before about transport, I don't understand. Maybe if government don't want transport again, let them announce it. Let everybody hear it on mind. There's nothing like transport again. So let them, if they will need to sell their bus, so let them find something else to do. It's just like I go show you now. Immediately that hold up last man's office, all of them will come out to be arresting the whole buses. Any yellow buses they catch them, any yellow buses that is on that traffic, they will get it arrest. Ask them to pay 20,000, 30,000. I'm not sure. Maybe those money is entering government pockets. Okay, another one is that I suppose show the point. That is they are just doing roads. So that place is task force. Whether you enter service lane or you are on your express, they will make sure that they catch you. All I know is they know that money must come out. You understand me now? Oh, I don't even understand what is going on in Lagos State again. Oh
dear. Okay, Chibike talking about the task force and their way of operation. One of those excesses we've been talking about is everywhere, as I said. There are excesses, there are abuses, and so on and so forth. There are violations. That's not the way they should operate, but that's the way they operate. And it depends on the authorities concerned to regulate. Every field of endeavor is open to abuse. There's no doubt about that. The regulatory element is what is missing in most cases. When you send the team out to work, who is the supervisor, who is coming, you know, unannounced to look over them, to check them? And so many people are unemployed, so you cannot say there's not enough personnel. Lagos is such a busy place, highly populated place that will need a lot of input to get things right. So, again, back to the government, because you are the authorities. You are the ones who bring about these task forces, so on and so forth. You see so many of them now in different uniforms. The question is, how do they operate? How do they operate? How do they operate? That's the question. That's the question. The citizens are suffering abuses, and they want you to look at that issue. They want you to look at that issue. Definitely, every organ has a supervising agency. So let them do their work, and let the citizens smile. Hello, Fatima, you're back. Just have a few minutes.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Okay.
Speaking about the violence, is the government doing anything at all? Because there's some little issue amongst couples which you report and they will not take any action. Some I said, did you have a certificate for your wedding? Such questions, and they will not ask. And they allow the man to go scot-free, which is very bad. I'm part of them. I'm one of them.
Okay.
I report, they said, because I'm a Muslim, we don't have certificates for weddings, all sorts of things. Sure, you get what I'm saying? And my husband still continue doing that.
Who did you report to?
You'll be telling me, if you go and report again, they won't do anything because there's no law for him to arrest him, which is very bad.
Fatima.
So they need to assist us, help us. We are speaking our mind. Yeah. Some women are out there, they didn't see someone to report to, they die, just like that. So I don't know, maybe the government are doing anything concerning violence among families or whatever. Most of what is happening, men cause it. Because I believe some men, they are not religious enough. If someone is religious enough, you won't stand up and be beating your wife. Someone that gave birth to your kids, you won't drop money for food. The wife is working, you are also working, you are telling your wife to stop working. And you cannot provide. When you have your money, you spend it on your own, which is very bad. So, I mean, I don't think maybe governments are assisting us or not. That is my own point. Okay.
I was going to ask you who you reported to. That's the body or the agency you reported to, and they didn't attend to you. But maybe what we'll do is we'll bring out the list of certified agencies or institutions you can report such cases of domestic violence or abuse to, and there's no way they will turn you back. There's no way they turn you back, depending on who you report to. I know at times if you report to the police about domestic violence, they will counsel you to go, and because they say they don't have the legal powers to intervene in domestic marital affairs, unless weapons were used or injury came into it. But apart from that, they will tell you, please go and settle or report to the social welfare or to any of that. So I think what we'll do is maybe in our next program, God's willing, we'll come with a list of official agencies or bodies that you can report domestic violence to. Even their numbers, we'll try and display them for you so that if you're suffering from that, you can easily call. There's no way such ones will turn you back. That's why I wanted to know who you reported to and they failed to listen to you. Whether you are legally married or not, I don't think that's an issue. The issue is, did such a thing happen? Okay. Okay, Silas, you are the last. We'll be fast. Hello.
Hello.
You're welcome. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Go on.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Okay. But things I want to talk about. I'm a business person. I'm a business person in Oshebi. So the things that are going on within our business premises is what I want to talk about in government. Which government can come in? Okay, like I left a shop in the plaza. Do I need to pay money to bring goods inside my shop? And if I want to take goods out of the shop, I'll pay money to the gate pass to take it out of my shop again. And the so much tax on us inside the market. People are, if you take your goods out of the shop, you pay gate pass to take it out. If you are bringing goods to the shop at your length, you pay money to bring the goods inside the shop. You know, and if you want to complain, they will say you better put this from the shop. You know, and government are coming inside the market now, telling us to pay our tax. And if you want to take the goods out of if you have already paid gate pass to take the goods out of the shop, and you put into a taxi, somebody will come and you pay money if you pay 500 again to take the goods. Maybe you want to take it to Oyimbo, to Abuja or anywhere. You pay money again. You understand me? And somebody will come and say they are.
Okay, Silas. Hello. Oh, we've lost that there. Okay. I wanted to ask if it is the rule in your market, because I know every market has some rules they follow. For example, the motor spare parts, popularly called Ladikbo, if you're going in there with some goods, you must show evidence of, you must show a receipt for bringing them. And if you're taking out, depends on the category, you pay something at the gate. I don't know whether that's what you're talking about. I wanted to find out. But we've run out of time, and maybe if you do well to call back next week so that we can look at it and try to find